When we think of warriors and military leaders throughout history, our minds often jump to famous male generals and kings. But the story of warfare in Africa offers a vivid tapestry of formidable female leaders whose names should not only be remembered, but revered. The warrior queens of Africa were fierce, strategic, and often led their people into battle with unparalleled courage and skill. These women were not just figureheads or puppets installed to fill a void. They were architects of their society's fates, embodying leadership at its finest. The significance of these warrior queens lies in their ability to challenge the predominant gender norms of their times, demonstrating that leadership and combat prowess were not exclusive to men. In cultures where patriarchal systems were entrenched, their ascendancy to power often marked a societal evolution, redefining the role and capabilities of women. These queens didn't just operate within their boundaries, they expanded them, influencing policies, orchestrating military campaigns, and often standing toe-to-toe on the battlefields. One of the most renowned examples is Queen Amina of Zazzau, present-day Nigeria. A leader in the 16th century, Amina was famed for her military exploits and her role in expanding her kingdom's territory. She was so revered that a series of fortifications, known as Amina's Walls, were named in her honor testaments to her strategic foresight and determination. Similarly, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, in what is now Angola, fought fiercely against Portuguese colonizers in the 17th century. Known for her diplomatic skills and fearsome resilience, Nzinga utilized guerrilla tactics long before they became a staple of modern warfare, proving not just her capability, but also an acute understanding of her enemies. These queen stories are, however, not without challenges. They often faced opposition, not only from outside invaders, but also from within their ranks, where misogyny and betrayal lurked. Some critics argue that their methods were overly harsh or confrontational, yet such viewpoints often overlook the complexities of their situations. They operated in a world that underestimated them, constantly negotiating peace and projecting strength when their people needed it most. In essence, their leadership was a balancing act, juggling diplomacy with warfare, compassion with power. Ultimately, these warrior queens are integral to understanding African history and the broader narrative of female leadership in warfare. Their lives and legacies connect to a larger tapestry of global female empowerment, softly reminding us of the indomitable spirit women can embody when society allows them to lead. The historical tapestry of Africa is rich and diverse, woven with astonishing narratives that often remain untold or underappreciated. Among these stories are those of formidable warrior queens who not only ruled entire kingdoms, but also led their armies into battle with unwavering determination and strategic brilliance. In a continent historically marked by tribal conflicts and colonization, these queens wielded power in deeply patriarchal societies, defining the political and military landscapes of their time. Understanding the roles and impacts of these queens requires a closer examination of their historical context. In various African societies, women held significant roles, from political advisors to religious leaders. Still, the notion of women commanding military forces was both exceptional and revolutionary. For instance, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, reigning during the 17th century, resisted Portuguese colonization with unmatched diplomacy and military strategy. Her skills in forming alliances and her innovative warfare tactics enabled her to maintain her kingdom's sovereignty against formidable European powers. Queen Amina of Zazzau, ruling in the 16th century, is another sterling example. Known for her ambitious military campaigns, Amina expanded her kingdom enormously, influencing trade routes and fortifying her cities. Her reign not only demonstrated her military prowess, but also transformed the economic prosperity and defensive power of her region, indicating a significant interplay between warfare and socio-economic development during her time. These queens, however, operated in often challenging environments where their gender made their authority contested. They faced opposition not only underscores the resilience and adaptability required for these queens to assert their leadership. Critically, the stories of these warrior queens challenge the stereotypical narratives of African women solely as passive participants or victims. Their achievements offer potent examples of leadership, underscoring the integral role of women in Africa's history. Moreover, these figures set precedents for modern-day governance and gender roles, indicating how historical contexts have shaped contemporary perspectives. Their stories are interconnected with broader themes such as colonial resistance, gender dynamics, and political sovereignty, underlining the complex layers of African history. These warrior queens not only offer a captivating glimpse into the past, but also inspire ongoing discussions about gender, power, and identity in both historical and contemporary contexts. Their legacies continue to resonate across Africa and the globe as symbols of strength and resilience. The history of Africa is adorned with tales of formidable warrior queens who defied traditional gender roles and led their people into battle with unparalleled bravery and strategic acumen. These women were not mere figureheads, but dynamic leaders whose impact resonates through time. Among the most prominent African warrior queens are Queen Amina of Zazzau, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, and Queen Amanirenas of Kush. Queen Amina of Zazzau, hailing from what is today northern Nigeria, is renowned for her military prowess and strategic ingenuity during the 16th century. Under her rule, Zazzau flourished economically and expanded its territory significantly. Known for her formidable cavalry, Amina led expansive campaigns, ensuring her dominion of key trade routes. Her legacy includes defensive city walls that bore her name, symbolizing her lasting influence on regional military architecture and trade networks. Similarly, Queen Nzinga of Angola reigned during the late 16th and early 17th centuries, embodying resilience in the face of colonial aggression. Faced with the encroachment of the Portuguese, Nzinga employed both diplomacy and warfare to protect her kingdom. Renowned for her intelligence and tact, she famously negotiated diplomatic treaties, even adopting Christianity to navigate the political landscape more effectively. Her alliances with neighboring states and eventual transformation of her kingdom into a major center of resistance left an indelible mark on the fight against colonialism in Africa. Queen Amanirenas of Kush was another formidable figure, ruling from the second half of the 1st century BCE. She is celebrated for her bold defiance against Roman occupation. When Rome attempted to impose taxes and seize Nubian lands, Amanirenas led a fierce counterattack, even sacking Roman Egypt as a powerful statement of rebellion. Despite the eventual peace treaty, her leadership demonstrated the might and autonomy of the Kushite kingdom against one of history's greatest empires. While these warrior queens accomplished remarkable feats, they also faced immense challenges, including navigating patriarchal systems and confronting powerful adversaries. Their resistance against external domination highlights their critical role in shaping African history. However, their stories also intersect with broader narratives of gender, politics, and power, inspiring subsequent generations to challenge societal norms and fight for their rights. Acknowledging these queens not only honors their significant contributions, but also enlightens a broader understanding of Africa's rich historical tapestry. Their legacies are integral to the larger discourse on leadership and resilience within the continent's history. Throughout history, warrior queens of Africa have displayed exceptional military tactics and strategies that manifested not just physical prowess, but also profound foresight and acumen. These queens, such as Queen Amina of Zazzau and Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, demonstrated that leadership was not a realm exclusive to their male counterparts, and that their tactical minds could equal or surpass those of any king or general. Queen Amina of Zazzau, in what is now Nigeria, exemplified strategic brilliance through her use of cavalry. She introduced innovative military fortifications and leveraged the strength of swift horsemen to expand her kingdom's territory significantly. Her deployment of suddenly mobile units allowed her armies to outmaneuver and surprise larger forces. Amina's reputation as a warrior was not solely due to her aggressive expansion, but also her skillful negotiation skills, which were instrumental in securing alliances that fortified her kingdom's positions against more powerful adversaries. Similarly, Queen Nzinga, Ndongo, and Matamba, renowned for her near-legendary diplomatic and resistance strategies against the Portuguese in the 17th century, portrayed astuteness in both battle and negotiation. Nzinga employed guerrilla warfare tactics, using her knowledge of the local terrain to launch surprise attacks that exhausted and diminished her enemy's forces. She also demonstrated keen political strategizing by forming alliances with other African kingdoms and even enlisting the help of Europeans when it was advantageous to her cause. Nzinga's adaptability was apparent when she negotiated peace treaties, which she often cleverly renegotiated to gain more favorable terms whenever the balance of power shifted. The impact of these strategies was profound. They did not merely serve the immediate goal of territorial defense or expansion, but paved the way for women's active roles in military and political leadership within their societies. However, challenges existed. These queens faced significant adversity from both external forces and internal patriarchal structures that questioned their authority. While Queen Amina's legacy is celebrated, it is argued that such military aggressiveness led to conflicts that eventually weakened Zazzau's broader stability. Queen Nzinga is sometimes viewed through a lens that focuses